In ancient times, when the skies of Yemen shone with bright stars and its lands were filled with kings and warriors, the Ghamdan Palace stood proudly in the heart of Sana'a as a symbol of power and grandeur. The palace, built by King Saba bin Yashjub, was not just a stone structure but a gateway to a hidden world known to few. In those days, a deep secret surrounded this palace, a secret spoken of by few and feared by all. The story begins on a dark night when a storm shook the city. On that night, flashes of lightning lit up the sky like torches of hellfire. In one corner of the palace, King Saba sat in his dark room, contemplating the strange events that had begun to occur within the palace. Mysterious footsteps, faint whispers, and doors opening and closing by themselves. He knew something was amiss. As the king was lost in his thoughts, a strange figure appeared before him, its eyes gleaming in the darkness like embers of fire. This creature was the old jinn known as Shamhurish, one of the most powerful and dangerous jinn known to man. Shamhurish approached the king and said in a mysterious voice, "King Saba, you have built a palace that is not yours alone. It is also a gateway to our world. You have entered realms you do not understand and brought forces here that you cannot control." The king was shocked by what he heard, but he composed himself and asked the jinn, "What do you want from me? And how can I put an end to this nightmare?" Shamhurish smiled wickedly and said, "There are rituals that must be performed, blood that must be spilled, and secrets that must be revealed. I will guide you on what needs to be done, but know that the price will be steep." Thus began King Saba's journey into the world of darkness and magic. Shamhurish led him to the old library of the palace where he found ancient manuscripts written by his ancestors. These manuscripts contained magical rituals that allowed him to communicate with the world of the jinn and control hidden forces. As the king delved deeper into these rituals, he realized that it required a great sacrifice. One night, the king gathered his senior advisors and palace priests. He explained to them what he had discovered and ordered them to prepare for the rituals. They had to collect rare ingredients: the blood of a virgin, the bones of an eagle, and the ashes of sacred wood. After preparing everything, they gathered in the palace courtyard under the full moon. The priests began chanting incantations in low voices, which gradually grew louder, filling the palace. Meanwhile, the king drew magical circles on the ground with his hand, placing the ingredients in the center. Suddenly, the ground exploded, and a gateway to the world of the jinn appeared, from which terrifying creatures with strange forms emerged. King Saba was ready for this moment, knowing from Shamhurish that he had to offer something precious to control these forces. He approached the gateway, holding his jeweled dagger, and then plunged it into his chest, taking some of his blood and throwing it into the gateway. At that moment, terrifying screams erupted from the gateway, like souls tortured for millennia. The king closed his eyes and waited. Suddenly, he felt a cold hand touch his shoulder. He opened his eyes and saw Shamhurish standing before him with a sinister smile. "You have made the necessary sacrifice, and now you will be able to control the palace's forces. But beware, every power comes with a price." As days passed, King Saba began to control the jinn, using their powers to protect his kingdom. However, this was not without cost. The jinn started appearing in his dreams, demanding more sacrifices. The nights grew darker, and signs of madness began to appear on the king. He spoke to invisible beings and felt their cold hands touching his body all the time. Over the years, the legend of Ghamdan Palace grew more mysterious.